Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel. This is the 28th video of a playlist for cloning a Disney Plus website using MERN. In this video, we are going to make the login system for the admin page. So if you are watching the previous video, we know that we already created the movies page, list page, and user page. That means all of our page is done. Now what left is just the login system in here. So go to the app.js in here, and if you remember, we have our if users is not true, it will it will it will give us the view of the login. But if it's not, it will not going to give us the login page. But in here we still setting it statically using the true value in here. So in this video, we are going to make it dynamic. But first, we need a context for it. So go to your source in here and make a new folder called out context. And then inside of here, we will have an out actions.js. Wait, it's supposed to be action or actions? Oh, it's supposed to be actions. After we change this, we have to change it. Okay, it is already asking us for changing in here for changing the import name of the file. So let's save it. This is going to be user action. After we creating the out action here, I'm going to make the out reducer.js and then out context.js, and the last one is going to be the API calls.js. For the out action here, I'm going to make a 4 of them. So in here, export cons login start is equal to some function and arrow function. Wait a second. So in here, type is going to be login start because this was the login start. Let's make another one. This one is going to be cons and then login success is equal to, in here we are going to get the users, and it will change the type to the login success, login and then success, and for the payload is going to be users. For the next one, or for the last, for this login, we will have export cons and then login. Failure is equal to some function and then arrow function, and it will just change the type to login failure. Now the last one in this file will be the logout. So export and then cons logout is equal to some function here, and for the type is going to be logout. Let's save it, save. After we create our action in here, let's make the reducer for it. So for this reducer here, we're going to have cons and then out reducer is equal to state action, and then here we are going to have, like usual, it will be a switch and case function. Instead of this case, whoops, it's supposed to be the type, not comma type. Let's save it, and then here we are going to have the case is, for this one is going to be for the login start. So if the login is start, we will return the user is equal to null, is fetching is equal to true. Whoops, it's supposed to be true. and for the error is going to be false. Let's save it, but first let's give it some semicolon here and duplicate it 3 more times. And for the second one is going to be whoops, it's going to be failure. It's supposed to be success, and then here action dot payload for the users, for the user. And then the last one for the login is going to be failure. And the last one in this file is going to be logout. Let's save it. For the fetching instead of the login success and login failure, it will be false. And also for the logout, so let's make it false. For the error instead of the login success is false. For the error instead of the login failure is true. And for the logout error is going to be false. But here we are going to have default, and then default is return state. So this was the default case. Let's copy and go to the maybe the list reducer. Do we have our defaults? What about the user reducer? Let's copy the default to here. Alt Shift F and save. Close the user and the list reducer here. After we create our reducer, and don't forget to export it inside of the out reducer here. Export defaults and then out reducer. Let's save it. After we're done with creating this reducer, let's go to the out context to make the context for this out. So in here, I'm going to import out reducer from the out reducer. And then in here, I'm going to have another initial state. Initial state is equal to user, and for the user is going to be json.parse, and then local storage dot get item, and then the user. So this local storage means if you go to the inspect here and then go to the application in here, you will see the local storage instead of the storage here. So that means it will get the from the local storage the user, or if it's empty, it will just be null. And then here we are going to have it's supposed to be or null. And then here after we have the user, we'll have the is fetching is equal to false for the default, and for the error is going to be false. Below of this initial state we'll have an export cons, and then this is going to be the out context. The out context itself is equal to create context is going to be initial state here. Give it some semicolon. After we make the out context, we are going to make the out context provider. So export cons, and then out context provider is equal to, and then here we are going to get the children, and then instead of the out context provider, we will have accounts, and then state comma displays, and it's come from the use reducer. It's supposed to be just use reducer here. Import it, and in here let's use the out reducer and pass the initial state. After we have the state and the dispatch, we will make a use effect. Import it first, use effect, and this use effect will run the local storage dot set item So it will set the item. It will set the users inside of the local storage, and it will be a JSON.stringify and then state.user. After this, and for the parameters, it's going to be state.user. After we make the use evac, we are going to have the return. So return is equal to, what we will return is going to be the out context.provider, and then for the value is going to be user equal to state.users. Let's alt subset. Oops, wait a second. For this, wait, for this value here, I will just going to pass it in here. Value is equal to user is equal to state dot user, and for is fetching is going to be state dot is fetching, and for the error is going to be state dot error, and the last one is going to be the dispatch. After we pass the value for this out context provider, I will pass the children in here. Let's save it, and now let's see if we refresh the website. We don't get anything yet because we are not already connecting our out context to the index.js inside of the admin here. So in here I will make out context, and then I'm going to wrap this app inside of the out context in here. Let's save it. Now refresh the website. Wait until the loading is done. And here, as you can see, we got some blank page. Let's see here. Local storage.getItem is not a function. Local storage, where is it? Is in here, inside of the out context.js. So JSON parse local storage dot, oh yeah, for this get item it's supposed to be uppercase I. Let's save and refresh the website to see the result. We still got some blank page, and now we got some more error. Let's see here. Rendering context directly is not supported and will be removed in a future major release. Did you mean render context consumer instead? Wait, where this one happening? It is inside of the index here. This is, oh yeah, it's supposed to be, let me see, in out context here. So it was supposed to be out context provider, not out context. Let's change all of this to the out context provider. Let's save it, but for this one it will just stay for the out context. Let's save. Whoops. Out context. Where's the context? I'm just going to copy, paste it here. Let's save it and refresh the website. If we see in the network, we didn't get any error yet. And now we got our page back. So that means there's no error for this for now. Now let's make the API calls. Let's make the login inside of this API calls. I will export, for this one is going to be login. And for this login is going to be export, and then const login. Login is equal to async. It will be some async function, and then user comma dispatch. Here, let me see. For the dispatch, it's going to be login and then start. And for the try, here we are going to have const res equal to await axios dot pause, and then out slash login comma, and then the user. Whoops, it's okay, user. And also in here we have to add the cats block because there's no try without cats. After we have the rest, we will rest the data is admin. So if it is admin, and it will dispatch to the login success and pass the data with it. But if it's not, or there's some error, I will just going to give it display dispatch and then login failure. Let's save it. So for this rest.data that is admin min is if the user that wants to login is admin, it will continue to the login success. But if it's not, maybe it will just going to give the users some error or maybe some message that call you are not allowed or you are not authenticated to do this. After we create the API calls or the login instead of the API calls, instead of that .js here, and also I can change this app.js to app.jsx. So then we can Alt Shift F in this file, but let's check it again instead of the index.js in here. So let's save it and see that we got some error after renaming our app.js to app.jsx. We got no error, so that means renaming this extension file from the js to jsx is fine. After that, in here for the users, I'm going to change it to cons, and then user is come from the use context. I will import it first, and then that context is going to be the out context in here. Let's save it, and now let's see if we refresh the website, did we still got our page in here, or we still got it. Let's see. So if you see inside of the inspect here, we still got our users or the admin inside of the local storage that we have. So what if we delete it? Now let's save and go back to our website. We still got it. There was supposed to be some error, or maybe we are not getting this. And here we already got our users is null. Let's see in here if the users, if not users, then it will give us the login page. But if it's the user, it will just going to give the whole page. Let's see inside of the out action here, out reducer, out context, index, API calls here. Let me see. What if we try to console log the users? Console.log, then user. Let's save it and refresh and go back to the website and refresh it. Go to the console here. We got null. So that means we already got our users data, but instead of the if in here, it still didn't detect that we supposed to not in here. So let's change the structure of our roots in here. First, I'm going to comment this roots in here, and I'm going to move all of this. I'm going to Control X, and then here users and so if there is users, it will show in here, but if it's not, it will not show for the roots. I'm also going to wait a second. I'm also going to uncomment this, and here we got the login For the user, if the user 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 is if the user is already logged in, it will redirect to the wait a second, it will redirect. Let me see here. We don't have any redirect. What about navigate? So navigate to the class. Let's give it some slash in here. So then it will be a self-closing tag. And if the user is not logged in, it will show the login. It will show the login page. Let's save it. And now refresh the website here. Still didn't get anything. We got some blank page. And we don't get any error too. That is because if you go to the login and in here, we are going to get our app. As you can see, we got our login text in here. So let's give it some style. Let's go to the login page in here. As usual, I will just going to change it to a React fragment. And instead of this React fragment, we will have a wait a second. We will have a class name. We'll have a div with a class name. Whoops. With a class name equal to login. And then instead of here, we will have a form. And then the action is just going to be empty. For the class name is equal to login form. And then instead of here, we'll have an input. The first input is going to be text. Class name is equal to login input. And for the placeholder is going to be email, and then here on change. So on change, it will have some on change even, but I will just going to leave it empty or null for now. Let's duplicate it, and the next one is going to be the password, and also the type is going to be password. Password for this email is going to be email. After that, we will have a button with a class name equal to login button. Login button. And on click, it will have some on click function, even, and I will just going to leave it empty. And it will be disabled if is fetching. For the text is going to be login. Let's save it. Now we should get some error maybe. Let's see here, refresh the website. Wait until the loading is done. And as you can see here, we got some blank page. There is because in here is fetching is not defined. Let's define it first. After the login here, we are going to make a new use state, import it, and then use the snippet. The first one is going to be email, and the default value is just going to be empty string. The next one is going to be passwords. Wait, I'm supposed to use the use state snippet. And then here passwords, and also passwords for the handle login. So in here, wait, for here, instead of here, after we create the passwords use state, we will have icons where comma the dispatch. So these two variable is come from the use context, and this context is going to be out context. Let's save it. Now we are going to make a handle login function, and then here we are going to put the a prevent default. So to prevent this button redirecting us to the another page. After that, we'll have the login. This login is come from the, wait, I have to import it first. This login is come from the API calls. Let's see, there's no suggestion for this. There's too much, so I will just going to copy it. I will just going to import it manually. Import and then login is come from the API calls. Let's save it. For this login, we are going to, we are going to pass the email and the password. After that, we are going to pass the dispatch. Let's save it. After we create the handle login function, for each of these on chains, I will make it e and then equal to set. So the first one is going to be set email and then e dot target dot value, and then here set password is going to be the e dot target and then dot value. Let's save it and see. For this on click 2, it will be wait a second. For this on click, it will be the handle login that we already created. And the login, let's delete that double or extra curly brace. And now let's check it out in the website. We have our email and password and also the button login, but it is still looking ugly, so let's give it some style. Then here, wait a second. For this login, I'm going to give it width is equal to 100%. Height is going to be screen. And for the display is flex. Align item is center. And for justify, it's going to be center. For the login form, I will give it flex. And for the flex direction is column. For the login input here, I'm going to give it margin bottom is equal to 10 pixel. Oops, it's supposed to be arbitrary value. MB is 10 pixel and padding is 5 pixel. I will copy this to class and pass it instead of the login input password. Let's save it, and for the login button here, login button, I will give it background color. Oops, it's supposed to be BG and then blue 900. For the border is none. Text color is going to be white. Padding is 5 pixel. And for the cursor, it's going to be pointer. Let's save it and refresh the website. And as you can see here, but I think we need rounded is MD. Let's save and now see. Now we got our login and our input for email and password. What if we try to log it in here? So the email is going to be admin@gmail.com, and for the password it's going to be admin. Let's first open up our inspect element in here and check in the application. We got our users null now. What if we log in? Let's see in the inspect. We get some error here. The spacing is not defined. Wait, it is still undefined. Wait. Did we didn't save it yet? What if we inspect again? Here we still got spacing is undefined. Login start is not defined here. So login start okay. We have to in the reducer where it is. Instead of the API calls here, we have to import the login start. Save it. Now let's see if I refresh the website and put the email is going to be admin.gmail.com, and for the password is going to be admin. Let's log in. Now we already redirected to the home page, and if we see instead of the inspect here, go to the application, we got our users along with the key. Now it is time for us to change all of this. Wait a second, where it is in here. Wait, let's go to the API calls instead of the list here. Now it is time for us to change all of this static token to a dynamic token. For this, I'm going to change it to this is going to I will delete it first. This is going to be mirror, and then space plus JSON dot parse from the local storage, get item, and then we will get the user dot access token. So we are going to use this in all of these headers. We'll copy and then paste it, but as a note, for this token or this dynamic token, we will just use it in the admin side. So let's go to the API calls in the users and also the movies. I'm going to control T all of this and then copy, paste, save. Wait, oh yeah, it's supposed to be just the token. Let's save it, and also for the user here, I'm going to pass it and save. Let's see if I refresh the website. Did we get some error after we change it to dynamic? Let's go to the list. We got no record display. Oh yeah, we don't have any list. But for the movies, we still got the movies. That means our dynamic token is also working. And I think that's it for this video. I hope you will enjoy it. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and also turn on the bell notification so that you know when I update this series. Thanks a lot for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.